Friendship is one of the few relationships in life that we get to choose. No blood ties, no legal contracts, no social obligations forcing us to stay. And yet when it's real, it can feel stronger than family, deeper than romance, and more enduring than success or failure. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people learn too late. Friendships don't break because of big betrayals alone. They break quietly, slowly, because of small rules that were ignored, bent, or repeatedly crossed. The saddest part is that many broken friendships didn't have to end. They didn't collapse from hate. They faded from carelessness. If you've ever lost a friend and later wondered, where did it go wrong? The answer is almost always hidden in one of these unspoken rules that should never be broken. At the heart of every real friendship is respect, not the loud, performative kind that shows up in public, but the quiet respect that shows up when no one is watching. Respecting your friend's time, their boundaries, their opinions, their pace of life. The moment you start treating a friend as an emotional convenience, someone you reach out to only when bored, lonely, or in need, you begin to erode the foundation. Friendships thrive when both people feel valued, even in silence. They die when one person starts assuming unlimited access without accountability. One rule that silently destroys friendships is using vulnerability as currency. Friends confide in each other. They share fears, insecurities, failures, and moments of weakness. That information is sacred. The moment you use something a friend shared in confidence as a joke, an argument weapon, or gossip material, you create damage that rarely heals completely. Even if they forgive you, something inside them closes. Trust, once cracked, never sounds the same again. Another rule that should never be broken is consistency of character. People don't expect perfection from friends. They expect predictability of intent. If you are warm one day and cold the next, supportive in private but dismissive in public, loyal when things are easy but distant when things get hard, you create emotional whiplash. Friends need to know where they stand with you. Inconsistency breeds insecurity, and insecurity quietly pushes people away. There's also a deeply underestimated rule about celebrating your friend's growth without competition. True, friendship doesn't secretly keep score. It doesn't shrink when the other person expands. When your friend gets promoted, finds love, heals, evolves, or outgrows old limitations, your job is not to feel threatened. Comparison is poison in friendship. The moment you start measuring your life against theirs, resentment sneaks in disguised as humor, sarcasm, or passive remarks. A real friend claps with both hands, not one hand holding jealousy. Equally important is the rule of honest communication without cruelty. Friendship does not mean agreeing on everything. Disagreements are natural, but there's a difference between honesty that heals and honesty that humiliates. Being brutally honest is often just brutality with a permission slip. A good friend tells the truth with empathy, timing, and intention. They correct in private, not in front of others. They speak to protect the bond, not to win the argument. One of the most commonly broken rules is emotional availability. Life gets busy, responsibilities pile up, but friendship requires presence, not perfection. Being emotionally unavailable for long stretches, always distracted, always rushed, always half listening, sends a clear message. You are not a priority. People don't expect daily contact, but they do expect genuine attention when they show up. Feeling unseen is one of the fastest ways a friend emotionally checks out. Another rule that quietly breaks friendships is taking sides without understanding context. Friends will sometimes come to you during conflicts, heartbreaks, or misunderstandings. Being supportive does not mean blindly validating everything they say or turning against others without perspective. True friendship involves wisdom. It involves asking questions, offering balanced insight, and sometimes gently pointing out where your friend may also be wrong. Loyalty does not mean enabling destructive behavior. It means caring enough to be honest. There's also a powerful rule about honoring evolution. People change. Priorities shift. Beliefs mature. A friendship that demands someone remain frozen in an older version of themselves becomes suffocating. When you say things like, "you've changed," with accusation instead of curiosity, what you're really saying is, "your growth makes me uncomfortable." Strong friendships adapt, weak ones cling. Boundaries are another non-negotiable rule. Just because someone is your friend does not mean they owe you unlimited emotional labor, time, or access. Reading messages doesn't mean instant replies. Caring doesn't mean constant availability. When boundaries are crossed repeatedly, resentment grows silently. Respecting boundaries is not distance, it's sustainability. One of the most painful rules to break is disappearing during hard times. Friendship is not only about shared laughter and good moments, it's also about showing up when life is messy, inconvenient, and uncomfortable. You don't have to fix everything. Sometimes presence is enough. Silence, when someone is struggling, is often louder than words. People remember who stood by them when things fell apart. Finally, never break the rule of gratitude. Friendships fade when appreciation disappears, when support becomes expected instead of acknowledged, when kindness becomes invisible. A simple, "I'm glad you're in my life," can strengthen a bond more than grand gestures. People stay where they feel appreciated, not tolerated. If you've recognized yourself in some of these rules, don't feel ashamed. Friendship is a skill, not a personality trait. It can be learned, practiced, and repaired. The goal is not to be flawless, but to be aware. Strong friendships are not built on constant communication or dramatic loyalty displays. They are built on small, consistent acts of respect, honesty, and care over time. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. The quality of your friendships often reflects the quality of your emotional maturity. The more self-aware you become, the deeper and more resilient your relationships grow. If this resonated with you, don't just read it. Apply it. Reach out to a friend you value. Apologize if needed. Express appreciation. Protect the bonds that matter. Because in a world full of temporary connections, real friendship is one of the rarest and most valuable things you'll ever have. If you found this meaningful, share it with someone you care about. Subscribe, follow, or save this for later. And start becoming the kind of friend you'd never want to lose.